You ever wake up feeling like the weight of everything you've ever done wrong is just sitting on your chest? Like no matter what you do, you can't shake the feeling that you'll never measure up. I've been there too, but you know what's wild? We weren't created to live under that kind of burden. See, guilt and shame have this sneaky way of making us feel stuck, like we're trapped in a loop of our worst mistakes. It's like replaying a bad scene in your head over and over, trying to fix it, but it never changes. And here's the thing, guilt and shame aren't meant to define us. They're more like warning lights on a dashboard. Guilt says, hey, something needs your attention, but shame lies. Shame says, this is who you are. That's where grace comes in. Living in grace doesn't mean ignoring what's wrong or pretending like everything's perfect. It's about facing the truth, but doing it with freedom instead of fear. Grace reminds us we're more than what we've done. It says, yes, you've messed up, but you're not stuck there. That's powerful. The hardest part though is learning to accept grace for yourself, isn't it? I used to think grace was only for people who had it all together. Like if I worked hard enough, prayed long enough, or somehow earned it, then I deserve it. But that's not how it works. Grace is a gift, and honestly accepting it is humbling because it means admitting you can't fix it yourself. You know what I've learned? God's grace doesn't just cover your mistakes, it transforms you. It doesn't leave you wallowing in regret. Instead, it says, let's get up and try again. Think about that. Every single time you fall, grace says there's still a way forward. Now, I'm not saying the process is easy. Letting go of shame takes work. It means shutting down the negative voices in your head, the ones that are constantly reminding you of every misstep. You have to replace those lies with truth about who you are and who you're becoming. You're not your past. You're not your worst moment. And forgiveness, that's a big one. Forgiving others is hard, sure, but forgiving yourself, that's next level. I've had to remind myself over and over again, if God's already forgiven me, who am I to hold a grudge against myself? Living in grace doesn't mean you'll never struggle with guilt or shame again. It just means you're no longer a prisoner to it. It means that when those feelings come, you can stand firm and say, I'm not defined by this, I'm moving forward. So if you're sitting there thinking you're too far gone, too broken, or too messed up, let me tell you something, you're not. Grace meets you right where you are. But it doesn't leave you there. That's the beauty of it. It always calls you higher, and that's a game changer.